Amazing twist, Karen steals my tablet while I'm in the bathroom, but I catch her with a tracking app. Hello Reddit folks. Welcome everyone back to our channel. Today, we're bringing you another exciting dose of incredible and surprising stories from Reddit. Get ready to get involved in captivating narratives, full of twists and turns and intense emotions. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, activate the notification bell and share with friends and family. Your support is essential for us to continue bringing fascinating content. Without further ado, let's embark on this journey of fascinating stories from the Reddit universe. Let's go! In one unpleasant episode, a nosy woman, who later became known as Karen, misappropriated my tablet while I was in the bathroom. However, my cunning was greater, as I caught her action through a tracking device, which took me directly to her bag. In my daily life, I work as a receptionist at a car dealership, greeting customers as they enter. At the same time, I am a professional artist busy with commissions, and, at that moment, I was using my older tablet to work, because, although I am looking for an update, the financial situation does not allow for this luxury. That day, while I was in the waiting room, a little girl no older than 4 came up and admired my work. It's usually common for children to be interested when I'm drawing in public places, but this girl was unusually quiet, watching with fascination. I gave her space to be her mother, who turned out to be the disturbing Karen of this story. Karen was nearby, busy buying a car, and took the opportunity to take a break from the paperwork. The salesperson who served her had temporarily left. The child, pointing to my tablet screen, explained that I was painting puppies. I showed my art to Karen, who, instead of appreciating it, asked if her daughter could draw too. I proposed giving him paper and pens, but the answer was not satisfactory. Surprisingly, Karen insisted that I hand over my tablet to the child, ignoring explanations about my side job and the need to keep the device connected. As she explained that they were waiting for bank approval for a loan, which could take 5 to 30 minutes, she belittled my work as selfish. I decided to end the situation, offering a notepad and pens, but Karen didn't accept it willingly. I chose to end my break and return to my table, leaving Karen behind a huge truck on display. Even though I heard her grumbling with her daughter, I preferred not to interfere so as not to jeopardize the sale to my coworker. Later, when attending to nature, I took precautions by leaving my tablet plugged in and covered by a notepad on the seat. At my workstation, I have a desk with a wide crescent shape, devoid of drawers to safely store my belongings. This was the best option. I had to hide things a little. I didn't spend more than 3 minutes in the bathroom, but when I returned, only my charger remained. My tablet and the digital pen I used to draw were gone. As I observed the lady, I noticed that her purse, which had previously been on the floor next to the chair, was now resting suspiciously on her lap. The feeling of panic took over me, as a large part of my work was stored on that tablet, essential for my activity. I turned to my sales manager and shared the situation and was advised to be patient for now. I returned to my desk filled with anxiety, my stomach churning. The sales manager went to the table where Karen was negotiating the purchase of the car. Although far enough away that I could hear her voices, I couldn't identify her words. Eventually, I heard Karen defiantly exclaim that she would never steal, and questioning whether the salesperson wanted to lose the sale. I immediately got up and walked over to her so my sales manager could see me, but she didn't care. My sales manager explained that my tablet was missing and that I needed to make sure no one in the building had it. That's when I remembered the tracking app on my tablet, connected to the dealership's Wi-Fi. I picked up my phone and turned on the sound on the tablet. Her purse started making sounds, and she tried to cover it up by acting like it was a landline. My sales manager stared at her defiantly. However, the app continued to make noise, and I decided to reveal my presence by asking her to return my tablet. It was at that moment that the situation changed. Karen stopped pretending and claimed that she wanted the tablet as a gift for her daughter on her birthday, as she couldn't afford a gift due to buying the car. My sales manager offered to cancel the deal, allowing her to purchase the gift for her daughter. He warned that he had better return the tablet or he would call the police. Karen practically threw my tablet at me, hitting me in the stomach, took her daughter out of the waiting room and left. The poor thing looked at me with a regretful expression before leaving with the so-called crazy mother Karen. It's amazing how someone can act this way, harming another human being and believing they will get away with it. How could anyone think this ruse would be successful? It couldn't be more obvious that she just wanted to use the tablet to tease her daughter. Absurd. I am relieved to have the support of the sales manager, who defended my case. It's reassuring to see that justice prevailed and we were able to recover the tablet. This report was shared on the subreddit of the podcast So Oh Idiota, and it is incredible how such absurd situations can occur. Check out the links in the description if you want to submit your own stories. So, it is my family members abroad who are providing financial support for my education. These people have contributed in different ways, helping me with academic expenses, sending money, and, honestly, I am deeply grateful for all of this. At one point, I was saving money to buy a phone or a computer, as I really needed one for my studies. However, just when I thought I had saved enough money to buy a phone, my parents took out a loan, using the money to cover our basic needs. After a few months, I decided to approach my mother to give me the money back, but she tried to argue to avoid this, claiming that she shouldn't ask for it back, since that money had been used to buy the food we consumed. I left it there and started saving again, already considering the possibility of looking for a job. My cousin and I applied for a few jobs, but personally, I don't do well in interviews, and my cousin ended up getting the job, while I didn't. A year has passed, and I'm in my second year of college, almost managing to save enough money to build my first computer, which I intend to use for research and to play some old games. In the meantime, my relatives decided to send us their old phones as they had purchased new ones. I received mine, but I faced a problem. The phone had a broken screen. My cousin bought a new one, immaculate and working perfectly. Feeling a slight trace of envy, my father suggested I not worry, stating that he knew of a place where they could fix it for an affordable price. I gave the money to my father to carry out the repairs, containing my feelings and promising myself that I would not envy what others had. He always told me that what I had was better, because I achieved everything with effort. A few years later, I managed to finish college and got a job, surpassing my cousins in that aspect. Although he was earning a good salary, he still couldn't afford to invest in a new phone as he needed to pay rent and other bills. The company provided a work computer for use at home, but my current phone was already out of date and blinking. Desperate enough, I made the impulsive decision to order a new phone, sending my family member a message saying, "Hi, it's been a while. I hope you're doing well. How's grandma?" followed by another message asking if I could get a new phone, not necessarily the top-of-the-line model, just one that was new and functional. About an hour later, I received a response that shocked me: "You are being ungrateful. At least appreciate what was given to you." I was surprised, as I never said I didn't appreciate it. In fact, I was grateful to have graduated and gotten a good job with their help. I responded, clarifying that I was not ungrateful and expressing my gratitude for their efforts in helping me complete my studies, pointing out that I just wanted a working phone, not something expensive, just something I could use at work. Now I find myself wondering if I would get her sympathy just by saying I needed my phone for work. I recognize that it may have seemed a little selfish of me, as I am in a desperate moment. However, she never responded to the conversation, even though she knew she saw it, as the preview icon appeared. A few months passed, and I ended up buying a phone on my own, without depending on my aunt. I mentioned that the phone is essential to my work, being used to stay in touch with my boss, colleagues, and other work-related activities. I even managed to earn money to buy a refrigerator for my apartment. I replaced my old computer, bought a bed, and, little by little, managed to rebuild my life. However, at some point during the summer, my cousin visited my location and asked for my support in his application for a job at my company. I explained to him that the company requires a candidate to have at least a bachelor's degree or equivalent, such as a 4-year college degree. When I shared this information, I felt sincere gratitude for my education, as I worked hard to get to college, while my cousin chose to work rather than attend college. I'm not saying he wasted his life. It is still valuable to have built up work experiences from a young age. My cousin showed his phone, the latest model at the time. I asked where he got it, and he revealed that my aunt gave it to him. For a moment, I felt a pang of anger, but I decided to ignore it. He gave me his number and told me to let him know if there were any positions available that he could apply for. Upon returning to my parents' house, I was warmly welcomed and my family prepared food. My father mentioned that a broken phone had arrived in the mail, along with an envelope containing money and a letter. The letter stated that this would be his last phone number and made it clear that he should not ask for anything again. I used the money to repair the phone and gave it to my younger brother. The letter doesn't really affect me being financially stable with my job, but it's painful to have a relative turn their back over a simple phone number. I wasn't asking for something top of the line or new, just a working phone that wasn't broken. I don't think it was too much to ask. I feel at a crossroads having asked my relatives abroad for this. However, I don't think I acted like an idiot in requesting it. Clearly, I am in a situation where I am dependent on the help of family abroad to look after me. At the end of the day, I learned a valuable lesson: if I want something, I feel much better working towards it rather than just asking for it. There's instant gratification in receiving something new, but when you work hard and save money to buy something you've wanted for so long, it's truly amazing to finally have it in your hands and know it was hard-earned. Plus, this gives you a lot more independence, moving away from your aunt. You clearly have your true colors shining with this lady. You don't just need it for the money, you can still have her in her lifetime, obviously. But when it comes to finances, you have a stable job and can do whatever you want with your money. It's great for that person to finally graduate away from hand-me-downs and broken phones, because now, at this point in their lives, they can afford so much more regardless of what anyone tries to give them. In my case, my best friend is using me for his own benefit and is now spreading lies about me at work, and I don't know what to do about it. I became best friends with my coworker about a year ago. She doesn't drive or have a driver's license, living about 40 minutes away from me. To help, I've been giving her rides for a while now and even taking her to some stores when she asks. Here's the problem. Even though she never received a dime, even after spending about $35 to $40 on gas to get her home 1 to 3 times a week. With gas prices on the rise, this takes a big toll on my tank. I remember asking for $15, which is a lot less than I should have asked considering the actual cost. She always promises to pay me when she gets home, but it never happens, even if I send an order. She only agrees to pay if I go to the gas station with her. I literally have to hunt her down for the money I deserve, even though she constantly complains about Uber prices and claims that money is not an issue for her. She will spend hundreds of dollars on herself when she goes shopping, and this is a frequent occurrence. Recently, while at work, we were in the break room, and I mentioned that she still hadn't sent me the $15 for this paycheck. She denies it and tries to invent nonsensical reasons to avoid payment. Even after showing previous payment records and the calendar, she continued to deny it until she finally paid me. About 5 minutes later, she starts questioning the amount, based on the amount of travel or anything else I might be adding to why she owes me $15. I explained rationally about gas money and systematically explained why I'm specifically asking for $15. Just as I was about to explain that I feel like I have to hunt her down to get the money, she stops me and immediately gets defensive, saying it's not that I don't want to give you money, that's all. At this point I stopped her, saying that she never said anything like that and that it seems like I have to hunt for that money just to get it from you. And suddenly, her chair is thrown back, slamming into the table, and she storms out of the room. I go to one of my coworkers and tell her everything that's going on. I have a close relationship with her, and she also had experience giving this lady a ride and trying to get gas money. She completely understands where I'm coming from and gives me solid advice to not give this person a ride home anymore, saying that they need to learn a lesson. Later, my shift and my friend's shift end, and I head to the break room to get my things. She's sitting at the table, presumably hoping I've booked an Uber. As I'm about to leave, she calls my name and asks if I'll ever say anything to her. I respond, "No, you fought with me. Why would I want to talk to you?" She claims I said something so hurtful to her. I explained that I didn't want to do that and leave. Instead of acting like a best friend and apologizing for her shortcomings, as well as possibly offering money for gas, she chooses to delete me from social media and completely ignore my existence for about a week. When she finally speaks to me, it's to give me a really bad attitude about some boxes I needed to take care of at work. I find out that a coworker no longer wants to work with her due to her constant complaints about me. Additionally, she is constantly leaving the area to talk to my manager about me. I am told by my coworker that she is making up lies about me to make me look like the bad guy. She tried to claim that I hurt her, that I yelled at her and left. Unfortunately, I'm not a person who just lets things go when people say bad things about me, as I don't like people spreading lies about me. I'm aware that she's told these stories to more people than just the few coworkers I know. I already hate my job, and now I've lost who should be my best friend, making the situation at work even more difficult. I can't look for another job because no one else is hiring, despite the countless requests I've been sending. So far, I've managed to avoid the anger of sending her messages expressing everything I feel about what she did, knowing that it won't bring me the satisfaction I was hoping for. The sad part is that she still gets rides from other people, and I really doubt she's contributing gas money despite what happened. Regardless, this is an unpleasant situation, and I'm not sure how to move forward. Maybe you don't realize it, but that lady wasn't her friend, she was using you for rides. Any reasonable person would help and chip in the $15 for gas, especially if you're driving more than 40 minutes just to pick her up and take her to work. If she's acting like this after you've asked her repeatedly, you really don't need this in your life. This ex-best friend is very childish and ignorant. If it were you, he'd get human resources involved tomorrow. He doesn't have to put up with someone gossiping about you, treating you badly, and just accepting it at work. This constitutes harassment in the workplace. You don't have to tolerate it for a second. The fact that she is spreading false information about you and making up lies behind her back is a serious offense. You have rights as a worker, and you absolutely do not have to accept that. Regardless of what happens, whatever type of punishment may occur, your best option is to move on without her, as she clearly wasn't her friend and was just using you for rides. My wife is upset with me because I cried over a football match, but I didn't cry over the birth of our son. Yesterday, a crucial football match took place that saw my hometown team win and qualify for the playoffs final. As we went out to dinner to celebrate my sister-in-law's birthday, so as not to be rude, I hid my cell phone in my backpack under the table and occasionally checked the results. I avoided shouting out loud out of respect for the table, but at the end of the game, the emotion was so intense that I couldn't hold back the tears and I became emotional. My wife immediately got angry and slapped me on the arm, saying that I didn't cry when our son was born and that I shouldn't get emotional over a simple football game. I tried to explain to her that it's not fair to compare the two situations. Of course I love my family more than anything, but the reason I cried is that I have followed this team since childhood. My father and grandfather took me to the stadium, so I got emotional thinking that today they would be very proud of our team and our city. Anyway, my wife thinks my behavior was immature, and in her opinion, a family man should set a good example and not cry over such things. Personally, I am very irritated by her attitude. I believe there is nothing wrong with being excited about these things, and that being excited about a football match doesn't make me a bad family man. I think she should apologize and allow me to take the children to the stadium to see the final, a historic event for our city that could be promoted to the highest category. However, I don't know how to broach this subject with her without making her angry or making things worse. What should I do? Honestly, I believe both parties in this situation are not very good at communicating. For one thing, you're at a family dinner, celebrating someone's birthday, and it's not the time to leave your phone under the table watching a football match. I understand that it's important and that you really want to be there supporting your team, but right now, it's time to focus on family. On the other hand, the way your wife is acting is also completely inappropriate. As a man, it's okay to cry. Men have the same type of emotions as women. It's strange that she insinuates that you are a bad father and a bad family man because you cried during a football match. Obviously, there are very deep emotional reasons why this is important to you, and it's surprising that she would make that kind of conclusion about you. This situation is totally unfair. I completely understand the wife's perspective about wanting to be present at dinner time and spend time with her family. However, there is no reason to blame her if her husband is excited about something he is interested in. We don't know the full story, And maybe this is a weird obsession that her husband has, and this was the breaking point where he's sacrificing literally everything else in his life just to be a part of this football game. However, we don't have this information, so we can only speculate. From what we have been told, I truly believe that a wife needs to apologize to her husband. I have no problem bringing the kids to the stadium at the end of the day. You two as a couple need to agree on this before trying anything. They probably won't achieve this right away, but I believe some honest communication in this situation will take them a long way. Thank you for watching. When you subscribe, be sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you can keep listening to all the stories. Use the playlist at the top of the description. Thank you all for watching until the end on my channel IDOWorkherelady. I hope you enjoyed the stories shared. Don't forget to share with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, like and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Your support is essential for the channel's growth. To the next